Happy Fursuit Friday!
Happy Fursuit Friday!
As you can see, I'm dressed up as Captain America because we're going to be talking about Loki and Black Widow, which we just saw recently.
And I'm dressed up as a Falcon!
Oh! Hey, I have not seen Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier yet. Hopefully I will soon. I don't know if there's any interest in me sharing my thoughts about what I think of it since it's been out for so long.
Well, did you review My Neighbor Totoro like 20 years after it came out?
Probably more than 20 years, but thank you, Theodore Rabbit, for watching and liking my video that I shared there. Apparently, Theodore Rabbit of Shadow Raccoon's channel also does not like that movie. They recently had shared their thoughts about why do people like this movie? And I was like, yeah, I didn't get it either. I didn't think it was very good. Here's a video that I made where I talked about it and a couple other movies. Check it out. And yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. He actually took a look at it and he gave me his thoughts on it. So I was like, really cool. So anyway, getting back to what we're here to talk about for this Fursuit Friday. This past week we saw the Black Widow movie in theaters.
Yes.
And we saw the final episode of Loki. We'll be doing our spoiler-free thoughts on both first, and then when we get to talking about spoilers for each of them, we'll let you guys know, so you can tune out if you haven't seen them either of them yet.
I've already tuned out.
So which would you like to talk about first?
Well, we might as well talk about, I guess it doesn't really, I was going to say chronological order, but it doesn't really matter because Loki takes place outside the time stream.
Yeah, I was going to say, Loki's all about time being manipulated.
I don't know. Let's talk about Black Widow since that's in theater.
All right. So Black Widow is a very interesting movie in that it... well, if you've seen the last Avengers movie, something happened to Black Widow that kind of made it interesting how they were going to make a movie about her. And a lot of people were wondering what that meant for where this movie was going to take place. Well, it turns out it takes place in between movies. Basically, what was it? Right in between.
I think it's between Civil War and Infinity War.
I thought she was leading into Civil War.
It's after everybody's been... you're right. Yeah, it's after everybody had been arrested in... what movie did they get arrested in?
We haven't watched these movies. I haven't seen most of these movies since I saw them in the theater. And they didn't do a very good job of recapping the story, so you really have to know what's going on beforehand.
Just gotta remember.
So if you see like a recap video on YouTube, I'd recommend watching that before going to see the movie, just to be certain if you aren't as big of a Marvel nerd as we are, and even in which case we were still a little bit lost. She's on the run in the majority of the movie. She's on the run, and
all the other superheroes are. They're either on the run or in the raft.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, that's right. Although, hopefully this doesn't count as spoilers. Giving away a little bit of the details here.
Oh, no.
We do start off the movie with flashbacks to when she was growing up. So it was a little bit hard. I thought it was a little hard to tell which one of the two little girls is meant to be her. We get to see her family dynamic that he grew up with, and eventually when they jump to later when she's finally Black Widow, they actually get to we kind of have a family dynamic thing going on through the whole movie. It's a little unusual, but definitely the scene stealer is the dad. At least I feel so.
Who was also in Stranger Things.
Oh, really?
And the Hellboy remake.
Oh, I still need to see both of those.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in seeing the Hellboy, as I did enjoy the two Hellboy movies with Ron Perlman.
I didn't hear good things about it.
What? The Hellboy remake?
The remake. But that's another video.
Or a potential one, at least. if anybody's interested. But yeah, don't exactly have a copy of it, so hopefully we'll be able to find it at some point. But yeah, what was the dad's name? Red Justice?
No, it was...
Crimson Dynamo, right?
No!
It was Crimson Dynamo, right? Yeah! He fought Captain America!
He was Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, that's
basically
right.
the Russian Captain America.
Yes.
Russian equivalent.
There's actually kind of interesting foreshadowing at the beginning of the movie where this guy who just has been acting like an ordinary father figure is suddenly showing off super strength. And it's like, wait, what? How did he do that? And you find out, I mean, the fact that he's in the trailers, I think is okay. But yeah, he ends up being this, you know, awesome Russian version of Captain America. He's definitely the scene stealer of the movie. Anytime his character is on screen, for the most part, he's the one with the best lines.
Oh, indeed.
At least that's my opinion. The action is fairly decent. There are a few slow, talky parts that can get bogged down, but thankfully they do put some levity in there. Like I said, Red Guardian steals a lot of the scenes, so if he's in it, it's usually pretty entertaining. So you know, hopefully you're not losing interest while he's on screen.
Yes, indeed. It wasn't as important as I would have liked.
Yeah, agreed.
I'd like to see more action from him, and some of the dialogue for him didn't really make sense. I mean, it was funny, but then it's like, why is he talking this way? Like, he doesn't have to talk this way.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
He knows not to talk with the accent.
He is Russian, but he was, you know, in the United States long enough to be able to convincingly talk like an American.
Yes, yeah, they put a slight accent on him, but when he goes back, I get it, he's been in Russia for, I mean, he's Russian, but he knows how to speak mostly normal-sounding American.
Mostly.
If there is a thing. I've met plenty of people that have been born and raised in this country that don't speak the way that... They don't speak clearly. I guess I'm included.
No, that wasn't what I was going to.
So do we want to go full on spoil?
Before we get to that, just want to talk about some overall things. So we talked a lot about what we thought of the heroes. What about the villains?
The villains?
The main bad guy in the movie is a little on the lame side, but their main villain that we see in the trailers is Taskmaster.
Yes.
Who, I don't know, I'm a little divided on how I feel about Taskmaster.
I thought Taskmaster was, he was okay. I liked the fight.
They were okay.
It's like
I wish that we got to see them fighting some more, especially with how much they are being built up. I was kind of let down by the reveal of their identity. We do find out who is Taskmaster.
Yeah, but
they definitely changed. I'm pretty sure they changed that from the comics.
Oh yeah.
Severely.
They changed quite a bit. Taskmaster in the comics and cartoons was very energetic.
But I will say I do like their take on how the Taskmaster is able to copy everybody's moves.
Yes.
One of the Taskmaster's main gimmicks is they are able to, as soon as they've seen any move, they can replicate it. And so whenever they're fighting any hero, they can literally pull out the same arsenal of moves against another hero, or against a hero. They're a bad guy. But yeah, so, you know, one of the major things is they have a shield like Captain America, they have a bow like Hawkeye, and, you know, they have all these, you know, physical skills that they're able to replicate, you know, all these other hero moves. And it makes it so it's extremely difficult to beat this character because they can do what you can do, and sometimes they can do it better.
Oh no! They could learn how to fly? Just by watching
They probably could. They probably could. I'm not sure.
Even the skies aren't safe.
Yeah, there's definitely a very interesting fight scene in the sky, which is, I believe, is in the trailer, so I'm not giving away too much. But, yeah, it was one of the more implausible moments. The movie's definitely got some implausible action scenes that happen.
Like all of them.
And, yeah, just so you're aware, it is a PG-13 movie. This is not a movie that's meant for little kids. I've heard stories that there was a lot of parents bringing in little kids to this movie, and there's a lot of violence, a lot of questionable scenes, which we'll get to in the spoiler section. But yeah, definitely for the older Marvel fans, not for the really younger crowd. But yeah, so over to Loki now. So we're talking about Loki.
Yay, I loved Loki.
We watched it as every episode debuted weekly, usually on Wednesday itself, but sometimes the day after if we weren't able to. But yeah, we were very pleased, I thought, watching the show. It was very intriguing, getting to follow what was Loki? What was his last name? They actually gave him a last name of the show.
I forgot what it was. It starts with an L.
Leferson, or something like that. It was
something like that.
It was definitely really weird because it never came up again. It never was plot relevant.
You're able to see it in some some of the background scenes, like written on paper.
Yeah, in all the end credit scenes, they'd always show his capture paper. Basically. To break it down for anybody who isn't familiar, Loki is Thor's brother, who was the main villain through the first act of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was the main villain in the first Avengers movie. Well, after the first Avengers movie, he was captured, and through the course of the later movies, they changed history, and he escapes. And that's where this series takes place, after he's escaped. And throughout the build-up for this series, it seemed like it was going to be more about what he does, but he actually didn't get to do much of anything before the Time Variance Authority, who is the main presence in this mini-series, captures him, and they bring him into their justice, this Justice Out of Time place.
Which you've seen in all the trailers.
They basically recruit him to be to work for their cause of stopping any kind of changes in the timeline. So this whole series follows Loki as he's been being rehabilitated and working with character played by Owen Wilson.
Yes.
Right? I got that right.
I don't remember his name though. Oh, it's Mobius.
Yes.
There we go.
Michael Morbius. I mean Mobius. different character, completely different character. Hopefully he's getting the movie soon. But yeah, Mobius is a very interesting character. He definitely stole the show when he was there. It was really cool to see Owen Wilson in a Marvel project. I thought he did a great job. But yeah, he teams up with Loki. They kind of go on a couple missions together. And yeah, there could have been a little more on the missions, but from what I've heard, the first episodes were filmed before the COVID outbreak, and then the episodes after that were filmed during. So the first episode has a lot of scenes with, you know, much of extras in the background or throughout the scenes. But then the following episodes, there's quite a lot of scenes that are filmed where they're in the office kind of space of the Time Variance Authority, and there's hardly anybody there. And supposedly this was due to the COVID outbreak and how they were only limited to just the main principal actors and so forth. So unfortunately that kind of affected it. It reminds me of the Writers Guild strike that happened, which affected a lot of the TV shows that I was liking at the time, where because something big that happened, this storylines that were going to happen got scrapped and so forth. But, you know, for having to deal with all that, I think the show still managed to pull off a really good story. How much do you think this show would be watchable for someone who isn't familiar with the Marvel movies?
Oh, I think it's entirely watchable. The only real thing that would make the show more enjoyable, like if you were just jumping on, if you at least know who Loki is, like, I think that's really all you need. And even if you don't know,
so yeah,
you get a little lost.
If you don't know who Loki is, he is, like I said, Thor's brother. He is a trickster god. His whole deal is that, you know, he's able to create illusions, projections, make himself look like anything he wants. Basically, he's a magician of sorts. And he has an inferiority complex. He was actually adopted into the Odinson family. He is actually not directly related to Thor, but he was raised to think he was. And he kind of has a chip on his shoulder. And yeah, he wants what's his, and he doesn't know exactly what he wants half the time, but he's like definitely usually a bad guy, but in this series he's kind of trying to question his whole life's goals. He actually, the first episode, he finds out more about his future and where he's going to end up if he continued on his normal path. And that's kind of his big kind of a Christmas Carol sort of thing, seeing his Ghost of Christmas Future, that he realizes maybe I should you know, do things differently, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, is there anything else we want to say before we get into spoilers? Because I think talking about a particular character that shows up a few episodes in is a bit of a spoiler
right now anyway, so you might as well just go right into it.
Alright, so you know, if you are interested in watching Loki without any spoilers, we're going to start talking about spoilers on Loki, and after Loki we're going to talk about Black Widow. So if you're not wanting any spoilers, yeah, thanks for watching. Happy Fursuit Friday. So
bye.
Bye anybody that wants to watch spoilers.
Go watch Tsukonko's other videos.
Yeah, go watch my other videos. All right, so spoilers. We actually the main is she an antagonist? I guess in sorts. The first half of the series, there is a female variant of Loki. With her introduction, we kind of find out more about what the TVA is all about, trying to stop these things called variants, which are alternate versions of a character. In this case, an entirely gender-swapped version of Loki. And as he confronts this other Loki, which at the time he just thought it was another version of him, he didn't even know that it was a woman at first until she reveals herself.
Oh my goodness, she reveals herself?
That's not what I meant!
Is this rated PG-13 only?
He ends up kind of falling in love with her, which, you know, kind of makes sense. He's kind of a self-centered guy, so he would fall in love with somebody who is himself, gender swap version, but still. In the end, we actually meet a whole bunch of different Lokis at one point, and one of whom is actually, I thought was the coolest one. He's in comic-accurate clothing. Yeah. Which is something that the Marvel, or the entire comic book, well, maybe not. I guess the DC series has kind of been trying to be as comic
probably a little closer.
accurate more than Marvel is. But yeah, it was completely comic accurate, complete with the giant yellow horns and the yellow and green, bright, vibrant yellow and green outfit.
Yeah. It looks ridiculous. I mean, it's a good way for fans to see how ridiculous the comic costumes really are.
I mean, I think that they can still pull that off for the movies, but I can understand why they don't. They want to be taken more seriously, and I think if they did do that look, it probably wouldn't get nearly as much attention. I don't know. But
oh, I wanted to say,
go ahead.
This Loki is this Loki that you're talking about. He's played by The same guy who played the main bad guy in one of my favorite movies of all time, Hudson Hawk.
Hudson Hawk!
Yes,
Has you heard?
Oh, it was such a terrible movie. I loved it.
But yeah, he's definitely gotten a lot older, and he's playing an older version of Loki, who has kind of decided not to pursue any of his normal goals and just kind of hit out. And that's why he's the age he is. Don't really give any explanation as to why he dresses that way. But I guess he's from a timeline where, you know, the original comic books are the outfit of choice, I guess. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, basically the final episode has everything set up for future Marvel movies, it seems. The Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania are supposedly... and then supposedly there's a Spider-Man movie coming out. I don't know if that's Far From Home or if it's not a movie, but supposedly there is a Spider-Man movie coming out from Marvel that features Tobey Maguire, Topher Grace... not Topher Grace. It's... who am I thinking? Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
And... who's the current one there?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. All three actors who played the Spider-Man in the various versions, Sam Raimi one from the early 2000s, the Andrew Garfield one from the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and now the current one, are all going to be in the same movie together, which is kind of crazy, but they're building up to a similar movie to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where there's multiple universes, which this Loki series kind of breaks down as variant timelines. Although there is mention of multiverses by a particular character. So at the end of the series, things are not the way they were at the start, and we actually don't know what happens to the girl Loki. We actually get separated from her right before the ending. We don't know what's going to happen with her. Sylvie.
Yes.
I've got to mention, even though she's technically Loki, she prefers to be called Sylvie for some reason. I guess just to make things a little more easy for audiences. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she kicks Loki back to the TVA, and he doesn't get to find out what happens in the end. But yeah, she's kind of in charge now, it seems. The one thing I wanted to talk about, spoilers, was Miss Minutes!
Yay!
I drew this picture of her, but yeah, she's actually an animated, this figure, clock, and she's actually voiced by Tara Strong, who is the voice actress you would know from My Little Pony. We actually have this for another reason. In the opening of Black Widow, there's a bit of an anachronism. As a little girl, Black Widow and her sister have which one? I don't remember which one, but one of them has a little plushie of Twilight, and it's definitely this version of her, and not, I don't know if there's a previous version from the older series, but it's definitely a Friendship is Magic version of Twilight.
Yes.
And
did not exist.
That did not exist at the time in which it's supposed to take place. So I don't know what they were thinking there. They couldn't have possibly have made it more period accurate if they wanted to give her a pony plushie. It's possible it was the actress's thing that she brought with her. It was her comfort animal, and she didn't refuse to act without it. I don't know.
Or maybe it was a nod to Miss Minutes.
I mean, I suppose it's possible.
In the Marvel Universe, it's like, hey, we're going to throw another reference out there to Tara Strong.
I mean, I suppose it is possible, but considering that this movie was meant to come out last year, I don't think it's... I mean, I don't know if Tara Strong had already voiced Miss Minutes for Loki at the time, but, you know, whatever. But yeah, so... I going into spoilers for Black Widow. The action scenes, while they were good, there could have been a few more. Definitely thought it was a better movie for action than Wonder Woman 84.
Definitely.
We actually get to see Black Widow a fair bit. Although, again, both movies have an extended sequence of their protagonist as a little girl, which I don't know how necessary I felt that it was for either of them, to be honest, especially considering Wonder Woman 84 was the second Wonder Woman movie, so it wasn't like we were being introduced to her.
Well, I will say this about Wonder Woman 1984 is that her flashback scenes at the beginning of the movie were entirely pointless. Like you said, we're already familiar with the character, and they did not tie into the plot whatsoever.
Agreed.
Nothing. They could have cut it out. And same thing with even the intro. But with Black Widow, it's just...
Which intro? You mean the mall scene?
Yeah, the mall scene could have been cut out too. It was fun.
Yeah, it was
fun, but it was entirely pointless. It served no point.
It served the point of having more Wonder Woman action.
Yeah, that was it. But in Black Widow, it shows her as a family. It shows that they were criminals.
I thought she was a girl, one person.
Oi! It's about her being with her family. Well, what we think is her family, and then find out is not, and that they're viewed as criminals and not heroes, which is a neat juxtaposition from what we know her as today. So it was to show all the different contrasts and build up her character and explain why any of these characters matter. So unlike Wonder Woman, these scenes, even if you didn't like them, they were entirely necessary for the storyline. Yay!
So, yeah, basically, we find out that Black Widow has a sister, and she's also been through the training that Black Widow has. And basically, she ends up recruiting her. They both go and rescue their dad, who's stuck in a gulag. And like I mentioned, their dad has super soldier powers.
It's one of my favorite Italian dishes.
Gulag? What's in that?
Oh, that's I got the meat and the spaghetti sauce and the noodles.
Meat? I thought you were a vegetarian.
Oh no! I guess I can't eat it anymore.
So, so they rescue their dad from the gulag, which definitely one of the better scenes in the movie.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And they ask him to take them to their mom, or they actually ask him to take him to the bad guy, but he doesn't know where the bad guy is.
The Red Room.
Yes, the Red Room is the organization that they're trying to take down. But he says that the wife, the mom figure, wouldn't know where that is because she worked with the bad guy closely. And they were like, "What? I thought she was dead." They're like, "No, she's alive." I was like, "What?" So they go and find her, and there's a really disturbing moment where she suffocates a pig, which I've heard is one of the big moments where a lot of the kids that parents had brought with them were kind of horrified by. I've heard some people found it hilarious, but
horrifying.
It was definitely a very out of left field moment. She basically has this iPad type thing where she's able to move a slider and basically take away this pig's ability to breathe, and it just starts collapsing to the ground because its brain has been wired to listen to what orders have been given to it. So it decides I can't breathe, and it's just starting to die. And it's like, oh my god, save the pig. It's like, yeah, you can still survive for 10 more seconds. It's alright, whatever. She brings it back, and it's like, oh my gosh. That was definitely a very, very strange moment, but I mean, it also served a good purpose of showing how much control the bad guy has over those he's got under his power. If she's able to just take this and take away a pig's ability to breathe, imagine what this guy can do to a human being that's under his control.
Yeah.
But yeah, her actual confrontation with the bad guy I thought was very, very underwhelming. I mean,
yeah, it was okay. It was all it could be. The guy wasn't a martial arts guy.
I definitely think there was making more comparisons with Wonder Woman. The bad guy from that movie was more interesting than the bad guy from Black Widow.
And I fell asleep during that movie.
Oh, jeez. Although he wasn't much of a combatant, that's why they introduced Cheetah. Who is
she was terrible.
Yeah, but definitely think Taskmaster did a better job as the main fighting antagonist.
Even stripped of all the personality. Taskmaster has so much personality.
Unfortunately, Taskmaster had no personality. We find out Taskmaster was actually a brainwashed version of the bad guy's thought to be dead daughter, which was a very unusual decision on Marvel's part to not only make basically this character mute, as it were, but change their gender. When the costume definitely makes it look like it's a guy, and I definitely feel like they probably had a male actor portraying Taskmaster during any of the helmeted scenes. But I could be wrong. I didn't look into it. But yeah, they definitely did not seem to be a woman during the majority of the scenes until we find out their identity. And yeah, they're kind of just this ruthless, brainless, well, not brainless, but just they have no personality of their own during the whole movie, and they're just a killing machine, as it were, carrying out the orders given to them by the main bad guy. And yeah, there was also this really bizarre part about their ability to smell him. There's like a pheromone control where if they smell the bad guy, they can't attack him.
Yeah.
They'll try to attack him, and they can't. It's, I don't know, I thought that was a little bit bizarre. She ends up breaking her own nose to be able to defeat this thing, and it's like, really? I don't know. I definitely think they could have done something a little bit better than that, but you know, for what it was, I didn't think it was too bad. But yeah, the end of the movie, they actually tie it into a character from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which apparently was not, and was supposed to have been before you'd seen it, so it kind of worked out for me. But from what I was hearing, because this movie was supposed to come out last year, this teaser in the post-credit scene was actually supposed to be leading into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because that wouldn't have been out yet when the movie was supposed to come out. So yeah, final thoughts?
It was a good movie and had a good they balanced out the comedy versus action much better than they did in, I think, any previous Marvel movie. It wasn't as much. You watch any other Marvel movie, they totally destroy the dramatic tension by inserting jokes, and this movie did that a lot less.
Okay.
And it was a better transition when they did do it.
I can agree to that. It sounds good to me. Definitely think that the lighter moments helped with some of the heavier subject material, and they definitely focused a lot on Natasha, on Black Widow as a character, and while she didn't get to be in her superhero outfit the whole time, I thought that we got to see her being this character a lot more than we did in some other movies, like we mentioned, compared to Wonder Woman. And yeah, definitely recommend the movie if you still haven't seen it and you're watching the spoiler part. It's a pretty good movie. Loki, definitely, it was very good. They actually teased that there is going to be a season 2. Yeah. So looking forward to when that comes out. And any further thoughts on Loki?
No.
Okay. So yeah, definitely liked both of them. We recommend them if you are still interested in seeing them. There's still stuff we didn't talk about, so there's definitely still reason to go watch them. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Happy Fursuit Friday.
Happy Fursuit Friday.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.